Hello, this series is looking at organizational structure, specifically looking at how an organizational structure is determined and what are the rules that are played by the organizational structure chosen. In other words, organizational structure is actually a system that is made formal, which illustrate the different tasks that may be involved, and how each of these tasks are integrated between each other. What are the relationship that integrates, coordinate, and motivate each of the task members to achieve the business goal or business strategy set. And in thinking all this, in structuring this graphically, an organizational design is the process which managers make in specifying the choices that is made available to come up with the kind of or the type of organization structure. So the process of developing an organization structure is referring to the organizational design, which is actually the process of organization of all resources that are available. To illustrate this further, let's say we have discussed about how strategy impact organizational structure. Now, how does technology would impact the kind of organization structure is whether there is an established system to assist in the coordination of the different tasks and or to ease the reporting relationship that would determine the kind of structure that can be adopted by the organization. In designing the organizational structure, within the organization design, managers need to specify the resources, the choices of resources that are available, and human resource can be one example of resource that need to be organized. So if the human resources are functional in nature, with the strategy that is adopted, most probably a divisional type of organizational structure may be more appropriate. Another factor that can also cause the type of organizational structure is the environment. So whether the organizational environment or the culture of the organization is with technology use, so that would determine the kind of organization structure that will be adopted by the organization. One of the type of organization structure that we need to know is the divisional structure. It is actually a structure that composed of separate business unit, and each of these business units can function to produce a specific product for a specific customer. This is actually an example of a divisional structure based on product, where each of the division can exist independently without affecting the operation of the other division. And under each of these division exists the function, specific function needed for the production and the marketing and the sales of the product. So you may have R&D here, and you may also have R&D in the television division as well. So there is a possibility of a duplication of function. We can also have a divisional structure based on geographic location. The division is segregated or grouped according to the geographical factor. Petronas follow this rule, where Petronas human resource matters are actually managed by its country managers. Yeah? And almost each region are overseen by a country manager. So you have country manager for Southeast Asia, and you can have a country manager for Europe, and each country manager will directly report to the corporate HR manager or group HR manager in Kuala Lumpur. Beside divisional structure, we can also have a market responding organizational design structure, where each kind of customer is served by a self-contained division. Market refer to the target customer. So you can Matrix structure is an example of a market structure where a glaring characteristic of a matrix structure would be that each of the employees in the product team reports to two employers, one in the engineering, and the second boss would be from the team A itself. So this team would have two bosses to report to. So that is actually a glaring characteristic of a matrix structure. And one would use a matrix structure when one have a large scale production which involve multi countries. In the example of producing tomato soup. So tomato soup may involve the R&D function, the product, the sales, the operation, the tasting market, but it caters for different type of tomato soup. So we can classify tomato soup for the Arab countries, tomato soup for India, tomato soup for the European. So the beauty of matrix structure is it shared the same function teams. However, because of this speciality of the product that is being produced, then the team would have to report to two different bosses for the same particular product. There is actually the pro and cons to a matrix structure. When you have two bosses, you may have higher conflict possibility and two different goals to achieve. How the next market structure would be the product team structure. Product team structure, the team members report to the team captain or the team manager, and the team manager will report to the CEO. However, the team would comprise of cross-functional team members that comes from the different teams, instead of one engineer overseeing all three teams. 1, 2, 3 teams. Possibly 3 different engineers have been assigned to the 3 teams. That means engineer 1 is in team 1, engineer 2 in team 2, and engineer 3 in team 3. So each of the engineers actually work with another person from sales marketing to form a team. And these team members actually report just to the team captain, team manager, and the team manager reports to you. Instead of like matrix structure, each of the team members that comes from the different function actually report directly to the not only the team captain or the team manager, but also report directly to the CEO or the function division manager. So that will be the different characteristic for a product team design structure. And finally, we have the network structure. The obvious characteristic of a network structure would be the existence of technology. Network structure applies to a virtual organization. Virtual means with technology, the team members are able to work together from multi-location, multi-time different, multi-organization to create a boundaryless organization. This is considered as the new organization structure that exists in the millennium century.